product now?
Maximini.
Maximini. No.
Yeah.
Is this going to be...
Like one of them.
Oh, very nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they?
Cool. This is... Hi, guys. How are we doing? Adam here. Davey's here as well, but as usual at the start of our podcast, he's on his phone.
Yeah, I am. I'm on my phone again.
Come on, Davey. And our 5 o'clock podcast start, we are at, 5:30 again. So there we go. How are we doing? Late night. Put your phone down.
Yeah, sorry. Busy,
Say good evening to the wonderful people that
How are you doing, folks? I'm Davey.
spent their time tuning into our wonderful Reef Radio podcast. Yeah. Jack's here as well, but he's not going on camera
He's hiding
yet.
in the background there, yes.
So we need a petition to get Jack to come on the podcast and talk about some stuff with us.
Hashtag get Jack on.
Yeah, there we go. it'll happen.
Yeah,
we'll
eventually.
He's shaking his head. He's going no.
Yeah.
Well, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
Yeah, man. All good. It's been a nice week, hasn't it?
It has been a nice week.
Yeah, we've had some fun.
Yeah, we have had some fun.
Some lovely guys. Thank you for your feedback from the first couple of episodes. I hope you noticed some subtle changes this evening to the production of our podcast.
We've been adding on.
Yeah.
Camera is getting better.
I've worked out how to get the feed from my vlogging camera directly into our production software that we're using here by way of a cable connection, which is working a lot better, which means that we're not going via iPhones through the ether. Yeah. Davey's picked up some lights.
Got some lights as well, just to take that kind of blue off us, and I hope it does.
Oh, you can see already the quality is absolutely heaps and heaps better.
Yeah.
Again, sorry, but we have a laptop on the table. Hope you guys are fine with that. It just helps us. But we can do cool things like this. Should we show everyone the setup that we're using?
Yeah.
Shall we? So, by the magic of technology, we can do this now. This is what we look like. There's Davey. How about that?
There you go.
Lights, camera.
And we just have the shop.
And the shop in blue lights.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a little bit of tech, haven't we, Davey?
Yeah, so I'll be able to do Davey Cam now.
We'll be able to do Davey Cam on the podcast.
Yeah.
What an idea.
Not this one. We'll do it another day.
We'll put something together. Because you can't do Davey Cam without the music. So I'll have
what
to line
music
that
was
up.
it?
Oh, it was like this. Boom, boom, it was like
oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was like this kind of like...
Yeah. Some 1980s blue movies.
Yeah. We've got the lights for it anyway.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Guys, I was saying this before, but I'll say it again properly. Thank you for your feedback on the first podcast that we put out. We've only put out one. This is the third one we're recording tonight. We're, like I said, trying to keep a week ahead of ourselves to keep content stable and regular. It was really nice to have you guys coming into the shop and saying that you enjoyed the content and the format and that you're looking forward to tuning into future ones and stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you so much for your positive feedback on this format of bringing information out to you guys so far. We're going to keep it up, aren't we, Davey?
Yeah, we are indeed. And it's only gone up on Spotify as well. That was a bit tricky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's getting there now, and I think we have to do one more thing with Apple. We'll get to that this week. We will.
Okay, but we are going to be available on all of your streaming platforms. So
yeah,
when you jump in the car and you want to put it on Spotify and not have the picture, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to hear our sultry sounds rather than our beautiful faces.
Yeah, true, sorry.
It'll work. And we're going to actually talk about some fish keeping stuff today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are indeed.
We kind of talked about what we're going to do with the podcast, then episode 2, which everyone will have listened to by now. We talked a bit more about the shop and how the model and what we try to achieve and how we try to achieve it and stuff. And actually going to talk about putting a fish tank together today, aren't we?
Well, we're going to talk about starting the cycle, aren't we?
Yeah, starting the cycle.
Yeah, just starting
putting a tank together.
Because it's something that's we're getting asked about a lot lately, haven't we?
Yeah.
There's a lot of new people around. They've started wrong in a sense.
Yes, definitely.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, go on, kick us off, Davey. Talk a little bit about your views on cycling, starting a cycle, how you like to do it, how you advise customers to do it, and I'll do the same, I guess. And we'll go from there.
So you have a tank.
You have
a tank. Water.
A tank full of water is a good start, guys.
Yeah, basically.
Well, with the professional.
Well, obviously we have to start a nitrate cycle, don't we?
Absolutely. Go on.
You know
what is the nitrate?
Our nitrate.
What is the nitrate cycle? What's the purpose of it?
It's I suppose it's to break down all them nutrients and stuff like that. And so we start off with ammonia.
We do.
And we want that to turn into nitrate. We want that to turn into nitrate.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah. So 3-stage process then, guys. Ammonia. But okay, let's wind back because we're blah blah blah. Let's make sure that we're clear about what we're trying to say. when you first start off a fish tank, there is nothing biologically alive or active in that tank. It is just a glass box full of water. And the water isn't even that healthy. And we don't even need to be specifically reef here, do we? This is just a fish tank of any variety, whether it's goldfish, whether it's an axolotl, whether it's a full reef system. It's all exactly the same. You've got a glass box that's full of water. That water's not even particularly healthy because unless it's filtered water, it's full of chlorine, chloramines, or it's reef tank water and it is RO water and there's nothing in it whatsoever to start off with. So when you then put fish in it, those fish are going to breathe, eat, go to the toilet, and that is also very unhealthy. So how does the system deal with the problem of having living organisms inside of it, which produce waste, which if left to their own devices, will kill them by virtue of its own toxicity? So how do you get that biological filtration, which is your key word here, get the biological filtration started and established so that the system deals with that waste by itself and converts it into compounds which are not deadly toxic that we can then remove at our leisure by other methods?
Yeah, because we only are trying to build our biological filtration because our mechanical filtration is already there in our skimmers, in our fleece mats, in our media.
Yeah. So this is back to the basics of it then, guys. So the three main types of filtration that happen in a tank. One is mechanical, which is physical removal of particles from the water, be that dust or poo or uneaten food or whatever. Then you've got your biological filtration, which is what we're going to be talking about now, and that really pertains to your nitrogen cycle and how ammonia is processed within the system. And then you've got what we call chemical filtration, but this is basically the addition of certain medias that have an effect on the water by either absorbing or affecting various parameters or substances, if you like, that are in the water column by other means. So, it's basically mechanical, biological, chemical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mechanical, as Davey said, is dealt with by roller mats, filter socks, fleece.
Fleece rollers, sponges, water changes.
Socks, water changes, to a degree. It takes out all of that kind of stuff, doesn't it? So that's that. And then, as I said before, your chemical is putting stuff in, activated carbon, that kind of thing. Roaphos would be another real key kind of regularly used, or any kind of GFO, granular ferric oxide, for the purpose of removing phosphate from the water column. No doubt we'll get onto the more finer point of nutrient control down the line. But your biological filtration is the main one that we're talking about. So how is ammonia taken away from the system so that it doesn't kill all of your fish? Because ammonia is very toxic, isn't it?
It is very toxic.
Even low levels of ammonia will cause you a big problem.
It will cause damage, it will.
Yeah.
It's born in fish's gills and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
And it can cause internal damage as well, which is, some of it can be irreversible. So.
Oh yeah. And this is where we'll come on to it in a minute, but talking about cycling methods.
Yeah.
Some work better than others, and some appear to work but can still have a lasting effect on the fish.
They all kind of work in a sense. They will all. Some, as you said, some faster than others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a nitrogen cycle in itself will happen totally of its own accord. Yeah. Like, you actually, if you want to wait long enough, you actually don't have to do anything.
You don't.
It will turn up, won't it?
It does,
But we have ways of making it faster, better, more reliable, create a more robust system as it develops and stuff like that, doesn't it?
And at the start, we just want to create an ammonia spike.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You know. So when we are setting up, it literally is as simple as throwing water into a glass box.
Yep.
Throwing some rock in.
Yep.
And getting water moving through it, like.
Yeah.
You know.
Are we talking about dry rock startups now, the modern way, or are we talking about live rock startups?
I suppose we could talk about either, and both kind of.
Yeah, dry rock's really popular these days.
Yeah,
and it's great, isn't it? I think we've talked about this briefly.
But I think it's more that for us here, we don't really do a lot of live rock. You know, and then when we do get live rock, we actually get proper live rock. Yeah, the Indonesian stuff. Yes. And we don't see it or cycle like live rock here in the shop. We just don't have the place for it. You know.
So when you say cycle, right?
Yes.
and starting a cycle and introducing ammonia. What we're actually talking about is the process of bacteria colonizing our filter media, the surfaces of our sand and rockwork, because it's this bacteria that breaks down ammonia, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's 3 stages. It breaks down ammonia into nitrite.
Right.
Nitrite is also pretty bad for the fish, not as bad as ammonia, but still pretty bad. And then it converts nitrite into nitrate.
Yeah.
And nitrate is essentially a nutrient,
Yeah.
nitrogen compound, oxidized nitrogen compound, which is absorbed and used in certain ways, but it's also a pollutant, isn't it? Like it'll foul the water, and we all know high nitrate levels create algae. Ish, we'll talk about that again. I can't help but say ish there. High nitrate levels cause algae. Okay, anyway, I don't know, we're not going to fall down that rabbit hole at this point. We'll talk about it again.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what we're looking to do as part of the cycle is introduce this bacteria into our sterile glass box, have it colonize, and make sure that there's enough of it in there to handle the amount of waste produced by the fish.
Yeah.
So how do we do it?
We can do it, as I said, like we just set up our tank and get it going. Like once the water's moving through, all we need is an ammonia source.
Yeah.
And then that bacteria will just, not appear, but it'll grow over time.
Yeah. But generally now the method is to add in that bacteria.
Yes. Throw a bottle of, or whatever in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and start it from there. Like.
And that's a nice way of doing it, because there is the correct bacteria, if you like. It'll get there anyway. Nitrifying and denitrifying bacteria will turn up from the air if you let it.
Yeah, true.
But it doesn't have help if we take a bottle of something that's specifically a marine orientated or a aquarium orientated denitrifying bacteria and use it. It was just, I know me and Davey talked about this before, and we said we're not going to dive deep into science on this sort of stuff, and we're not.
We'll add to it over time.
Yeah, we're going to keep it simple.
If you throw a load of information to someone, they're just going to be like,
yeah, it's a bit much. But still, I can't help it a little bit.
Look, you have to throw bits in. Yeah.
So
well, you love big fancy words.
Big fancy.
You know what?
Science of keeping a fish.
No, but it does be hilarious, because like, you know, somebody come in and go, oh, I just want to keep a couple of guppies or something like that, and then it's like blah blah blah, and you start banging big words into them and just like that. It's just hear some crickets in the background. That's all that's going on in their mind. It's like, what am I getting? I'm
not having none of this, guys. Right.
He does.
Comments below.
But anyway.
Big words or no big words.
No, but
what I was going to say was,
yeah,
when you're talking about is the bacteria that we're putting in correct or not, there was a long period of time where a lot of research was done on bacteria that basically convert ammonia into nitrite. We won't worry about the nitrite to nitrate bit. And it was based on research done on a strain of bacteria called, what was it? Nitrospirus europus, I believe is the name.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but basically that was the bacteria that, and I think I'm not quite right on my pronunciation there, guys. So please excuse me. It's near enough there. It's europus anyway, and that is actually a bacteria that's used in water treatment plants that's designed for human consumption. Nothing to do with the bacteria that we use in marines.
No.
It works and it provides the same process, but it's different in certain ways. Things like whether the nitrite level affects the process, which it does, but it was thought not to because it didn't in that strain of bacteria.
Yeah.
So when we're adding nitrous amonis and nitrospirus bacteria into our tanks for the various functions that they need to perform, it is kind of important that we put the right ones in. So I guess what I'm kind of trying to say there in a roundabout way is, it is a good idea these days to introduce that bacteria at the start.
Yeah.
You can buy this stuff in bottles. It's not that expensive compared to the whole reef keeping hobby at all.
Yeah.
So many different brands make it. There are good ones. There are ones that we recommend here. I can think of 4 or 5 off the top of my head. We won't talk about brands in this, will we?
We can if you want, like, you know.
Well,
we're not tied up to anyone.
Yeah.
Says me in a red sea top.
Red sea top.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of different sorts. There's all sorts of different bacteria that you can get. But basically, the way to get this bacteria seeded and started in your aquarium to start with is to introduce it, isn't it? Pour it in.
It is.
Droppers.
Pour it in, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And then we've got to feed it.
We got to feed
Give
it.
it somewhere to live and feed it.
Yep. We do. And there's numerous ways.
Yeah.
You can actually get like other types of bacterial foods Carbon dosing
Yep.
is another way.
Yep.
You know, even an ammonia source.
Yes.
you
Well,
know.
ammonia source is the food for it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And again, how deep do you get?
yeah,
Because your carbon dosing is looking at the bacteria that convert nutrients or that uptake nutrients as food.
nutrifying bacteria.
So they
yeah.
take up your, they basically eat, if you like, nitrates and phosphates, those bacteria.
Yeah,
We won't talk about it now, but it's heterotrophic and autotrophic bacteria. So what food source do they use? Do they make their own food out of inorganics like ammonia, or do they essentially eat, it's not eat, it's bacteria, but it's the easiest way to think about it. Do they use stuff that is essentially already organic food, or do they use stuff that's inorganic compounds in the water?
yeah,
So yeah, your autotrophs, if you like, are creating their own food, and they're the ones in our nitrogen cycle. But they eat ammonia, so we need to give them ammonia. Otherwise, if you just introduce bacteria and you don't put fish in soon enough, or
You
you
need to
don't
keep
put
it
an ammonia
alive,
source
so-
in, it's not going to grow and multiply and replicate. 'Cause
no.
it's got nothing to eat.
yeah, exactly.
What was the old method? Go on, everyone knows how we used to introduce ammonia into our tanks.
We used to throw a bit of fish food or a bit of a
Prawn.
shrimp or a damsel.
Or a damsel. Yeah. A clownfish or a damsel.
Yeah, and like one of the fish health book I'm at to been reading now, and they're talking about using damsel fish to cycle a tank, like, and it's saying like they're very, very hardy and stuff like that, and basically it's kind of saying like it doesn't cost you much, so why not, like, you know?
Because,
And it's like,
but this is a conversation I had with
Yeah.
Dr. Bobby. You can't weigh the cost of an animal up against a benefit to a person.
yeah,
We
yeah,
should
yeah.
be trying to give them the best we can give them all the time. And if
Oh, yeah,
exposure
yeah,
to
yeah.
ammonia at a toxic level is something we're doing to make our life easier, then we probably should be looking at other methods, right?
Yeah.
However, that being said, there's with ammonia detoxifiers, which are readily available and inexpensive.
Yeah.
There's no reason. And see, this is where we come on to different types of cycling, isn't it? So we're talking about basically adding bacteria in a bottle.
Yeah.
But the other types of cycling is essentially, we're talking about fishless cycle, where we wait for that process to go on itself, or as you say, a fish in cycle, which is where you're putting fish in as your ammonia source.
Yeah.
Where
And
do you stand on that?
Where do I stand on it?
Well,
It's
what's
a
your-
really
what's your
old method,
experience
like,
or thought? Yeah.
Like when I started off, like the way I would have set it up, I would have thrown like a bit of prawn in and left it, and you'd leave it rotting away for a week or two
Yeah.
until the way I used to say it, you'd literally see it like start growing fungus, it start rotting away, and you take it out, and then you just leave the tank for another, say, 2 or 3 weeks, like, and then all of a sudden you have your massive ammonia spike, and the ammonia would stay there for a while. I suppose at the start there was none of your like your Microbacter 7, none of your Bacto blend, none of your Nitrobac, any of this kind of stuff that actually throw in and start
you'd
this,
have to wait for the bacteria
you
to
know,
turn up
and,
on its own.
and it would have turn up. But to be honest, doing it the old way and letting it kind of go through its cycle and all, I think your tank just turns out rock solid.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Because-
we get it in the shop a lot, don't we? The longer the cycle takes someone, the more robust the tank
Yeah.
at the end, it seems. And that's in the early days, obviously. Once
Yeah.
a mature tank's a mature tank, no matter what you do,
It
really.
is. Yeah, and then like even sometimes we get people coming in and do water tests and stuff like that, and they'd be like, "Oh, my tank is set up a week now," and we do it, and there's still nitrite there, and you'd be like, "Yeah, just still not ready," like, you know what I mean, like, and,
Yeah.
or
And don't worry about it, is the
or,
advice.
or there's zero ammonia, there's zero nitrate and zero nitrate.
Nitrate.
Well, there has
oh,
to be
yeah.
something.
Well, that's something different. That's a
You know
little
what I mean?
different story,
It's just
isn't it?
nothing has started, nothing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, right, well, here, look, throw a couple of pellets or something in, or whatever, and let them rot away, let them create the ammonia source, and then all of a sudden,
Comes to life.
after 4 or 5 days, or sometimes, you get people coming in 4 or 5 days later going, "Is it ready now?"
Yeah.
And then you test it, and you're like, "No, but you finally have.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's
You
getting
finally
there.
have ammonia.
Yeah,
You finally
you've
have
got
nitrite.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what I
just
mean?
not-
And then the next time they come in, they have like 2 to 10 nitrite, and you'll be like, "Yeah,
yeah.
everything else
No,
is
you're
0.
cycled.
Everything's perfect."
Yeah. We're jumping.
Yep.
When we're cycling a tank, what are we testing for? What are we expecting to see? and what tells us that a tank is either in the process of being ready, not ready, or never going to be ready. Because those are the situations that we see, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's either there's no cycle happening at all, or a cycle's happening and it's in process, or the cycle is done and we're good to go.
Yeah.
3 situations, isn't there?
There is.
So the 3 things that we're testing for is ammonia, obviously, nitrite, of course, and then nitrate, which is the end product. So you introduce ammonia, bacteria convert it to nitrite. The nitrite is then converted by bacteria to nitrate, and nitrate is our pollutant / nutrient compound that is then exported by other means or consumed by organics, algae, corals, bacteria. So when we're testing, what you expect to see is first you see the ammonia. And when you plot it on a graph, I'll try and overlay a graph over this, but it might not happen. When you see an ammonia spike and that starts to fall. After that, you see a nitrite.
Yep.
And then after that, your nitrate goes up and stays there because there's nothing in the system that's getting rid of nitrate. So your first stage, which is nothing's happening, is 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite, and 0 nitrate. There is nothing at all in the system that's testable out of those 3 compounds.
And that's
that's where I
one.
see people making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Because people test ammonia and nitrite and they go, brilliant, the tank's ready.
We've had it
no
today.
ammonia. Yeah.
We've had it today. That guy came in.
Yeah.
He was like, I've done my water test, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
We done the test and it was like, it's all 0. There might be a bit of nitrite.
Yeah. There's a
You
touch
know,
of nitrite in his.
might
I think
just-
he's getting it. But whatever bacteria, he's probably not put enough of an ammonia source in, so we're only seeing such a tiny,
I don't
tiny
think
bit of it.
I don't think there was an ammonia
No,
source.
it's probably just what's come with the
is-
bacteria.
Yeah.
Because they will
Probably.
produce their own a bit. A lot of these, like Active Start, without wanting to necessarily go down a brand route, you don't need an ammonia source. That stuff does its thing on its own. It's brilliant. But if you've got that 0, 0, 0, a cycle hasn't happened. There is no bacteria
No.
because you're not seeing the end result. And I think if you're testing water to see is the water safe for fish, and you're going, well, there's no ammonia, there's no nitrite, great. There's nothing toxic in there. But also there is no bacteria in there to deal with the ammonia from the livestock that you put in. Then you introduce a certain amount of fish into your system, that bioload starts to create ammonia. And because there's been no cycle, they're producing ammonia faster than the biological filtration can deal with it. Therefore, it becomes toxic and it kills your fish, or at least does long-term damage to them so that they don't work. So you must test for the end result.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty key. When you've got that 0, 0, 0, your tank, it's not that it's not ready yet, it's that it probably never will be unless you leave it for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
So that's your stage 1, isn't it? Like not
So
ready.
so the stage 1 was creating ammonia source.
Yeah. So your
You
stage
know.
2 in your testing. So
Yeah.
what are you looking for in tests to show you that it's on its way then?
So we're looking for this ammonia to start reducing
Mm-hmm.
and some nitrite to start raising.
Yeah.
You know, so that means we're going into the nitrogen cycle.
Yeah.
You know, so like, and you would word this better than me anyway, but like essentially, like we're trying to reduce as much ammonia as possible, so it'll turn into a nitrate, so we can move it on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's that first stage done.
Yeah.
It's you have nitrites. Ideal, perfect. And through that process, you might see nitrates as well. Basically, seeing a state where there is ammonia and there is nitrite and there is nitrate. You can't put fish in it because
No.
the ammonia is still toxic.
Yep.
The nitrite is still toxic.
Yep.
To whatever degree that it is.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not going to get into the finer points of modern scientific research, but some people are now starting to say nitrite is not as toxic as we thought it was. But safe than sorry, why put fish in?
Yeah, it's not water,
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's all.
So you've got ammonia, you've got nitrite, and you're starting to see nitrate. That means
Yeah.
that the bacteria is in there and it is doing its job.
That's it, yeah.
Your compounds are being broken down, and they are being moved through the cycle, through the stages, and they are going to come out the other end eventually.
Yeah.
So it's on its way, it's working. Patience, hold the line.
And that's it.
Don't
It
put
just,
fish in
it
yet.
literally just needs that
Yeah.
just that bit of time.
Yeah. Because
You
then
know.
the next stage, of course, is our kind of third stage, as I like to call it, which is that we are ready for fish.
Yeah,
So-
we're trying to head towards only seeing nitrate, just a small bit of nitrate.
Yeah.
It can get to a situation where we have 0 ammonia, but we still have nitrate,
Yep.
and we still have nitrate.
Yeah.
And at that stage, it could be days,
Yes.
just a couple of 3-4 days.
Yeah,
and it
absolutely.
just makes that bit of a conversion. We
Yeah.
see this all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
But you've
somebody will come in
essentially-
and go on a Wednesday and go, Come back on Saturday, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Come
Because
back
we're seeing a bit of
Saturday.
nitrite, but there's no ammonia.
Yeah.
Tinge of nitrite.
It's just like, it needs like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it is.
Yeah.
And we deal with something we see all the time. Like, yeah, and so then you are at that stage, like,
Yeah.
you know, and now it's time to add in fish.
Mm.
But what happens?
So
New cycle.
new cycle.
No, we're not going to mightn't spike ammonia.
No.
But we're hoping that we'll create small bit of ammonia.
Yeah.
But we want that to change very quickly.
We want the bacteria in the system to be sufficiently colonized enough that it will process that ammonia before it reaches toxic levels.
Yes.
And reaches toxic levels, by the way, is above zero testable.
Yes.
In a tank. When we say deal with, we mean it's not. You can't find it on a test. You
Yes.
test your water column, it's not there. And a lot of people, this will come up again in the future. This will come up time and time again when we're talking about different tests. People test the water and they go, my ammonia in my system is 0. No, it isn't. If you've got fish in there that are breathing and you've got fish in there that are going to the toilet, there is ammonia being introduced. It's not testable in the water column, which means that it's being extracted faster than it can be produced, and therefore there's none testably in the water column.
Yep.
That might seem like a silly finer point to make the point of now, but when we talk about more advanced concepts later on, it's going to be important.
But this is why we're saying ammonia needs to spike. It needs to be a spike of ammonia.
Yeah, because you need to have seen that it has been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what we're hoping to happen at the end of the cycle is for everything to be so strong and so powerful that when there is an ammonia spike, it just it's taken care. It's taken care of straight away.
Yeah, soaked up, gone
Yeah,
into the bacteria,
absolutely.
onto the next stage.
Absolutely.
And nitrite, generally speaking, quite often in some cycles you never see nitrite.
No.
Because nitrite is produced and dealt with by the system so quickly that quite often you don't see it in tests at all.
And you see it in the way people cycle the tanks and what they've actually got in their tank. Like, you know, like if somebody has a really, really strong, like start with live rock, like you almost never see nitrate.
Yeah, well,
you'll see ammonia, but you might see a little bit of nitrate, but it usually disappears very quickly.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
see, this goes on to, like you say, people use live rock. The cycle happens differently. So when people say live rock, we've had people come into the shop as well, and they're looking, they go, oh, even the rock's live. And they've kind of got this idea that it might be a moving, living creature.
Yeah, that's going to be waving at
it's
you.
going to be rolling around the tank at night while you're out looking for a starfish to eat. It's not quite that. What we actually mean when we say live rock is that it has already been colonized by bacteria.
Yes.
It contains the bacteria that we're trying to introduce in bottles. So it's just another way of introducing bacteria.
It's a live filter.
Yeah, it
Literally
contains
filter,
living bacteria that does the job that we're trying to get it to do. So when you're using live rock, you're not necessarily, and live rock used to be the only thing that was used, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like I can remember starting reefing 25. Well, I'll tell you what. When I started 25 years ago, there was no man-made rock.
No. There wasn't.
You know?
There wasn't a lot, like, you know. But I suppose people would take rock from everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. It would get dragged from anywhere.
Anything.
And once you've got live rock that's dried out in someone's garden.
Stuff that was probably dumped onto the beach, people would take and
Yeah,
go,
I suppose
oh,
so.
well, it's good enough for the beach here. Why don't we just throw it in?
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice shiny pebble.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously organics that live in the water in Ireland that's about somewhere between 2 and 8 degrees for most of the year.
Yeah.
Of course, it's exactly the same stuff that lives in the water in the sea off the coast of Hawaii, where it's 25 degrees all year round.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not quite. No, anyway, we won't go on to that one.
No,
it's different water. But yeah, when you're cycling with live rock, you've already got that bacterial introduction. So generally you tend to see a faster cycle if the live rock is free from ammonia. But you can get some mad levels of ammonia off live rock, can't you?
You can. Well, that's why we cure it.
Yeah, because it's die-off. Animals on the rock die off.
And like a lot of this rock will come, as we've said before in the other podcast, like it does come dry, like, well, not dry, but like it'll come damp, like, you know, it's been exposed to the oxygen. You know, it would be just too expensive to ship live rock away.
Submerged.
You know,
like
to be honest, we order 25 kilos of live rock, comes in one poly box, and if that's 25 kilos of rock, then you throw another couple of litres of water.
Yeah.
There's a 40 kilo box there. Who's picking it up? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. And who's paying for the shipping for it as
and
well?
exactly,
the live rock costs a fortune. You'd have to bring it over in tanks.
It does, yeah.
It would be madness, yeah. But yeah, that's why live rock has to be cured. People talk about curing dry rock. We'll do this. I've got one idea I want to do it in a while is kind of reefing. What's the word? Not misnomers. Reefing, like Like when you think that something means something, but it actually means something else. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like people talk about curing Marco rock. You can't cure something that hasn't got die-off on it.
yeah.
You can't cure dry rock. It doesn't.
You were talking about
it's a
reefing
different
terminology.
word. Reefing terminology, mistaken or misunderstood reefing terminology, which there's a lot. And I've got a load that I learn all the time. You'll say something and someone will be like, don't you mean this? I'll be like, oh, yeah. It happens all the time. But yeah, we'll have a talk about that sometime. But the idea of curing anything other than live rock, the process of curing is there are live things on that rock that die. Those dead things produce ammonia, and we want to get all of that away from the rock and out of the system before we add it to our nice shiny new reef tank, isn't it?
Because there's a lot of ammonia and a lot of nitrate come off rock like that.
Yeah.
I always found you get a lot of really, really high nitrate spikes.
Yeah. Well, because you might have dead crabs in there, and you might have tube worms and 6-foot-long bobbit worms that are going to come out your tank at night and chase your kids around, that sort of thing. That's the kind of stuff we used to find on live rock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never mind the enormous crab that came off something in our
shrimps and stuff
mantis
like that.
shrimps,
Yeah,
people, you hear about tanks getting cracked by enormous mantis shrimps crawling out of live rock and whacking the glass. Back before quality silicon.
I think that's a myth. I don't.
Maybe that's one of those myths that everyone's heard about, but no one actually has had happen.
I don't believe it. I've had them banging on glass and
really?
They haven't
broken it.
Although unless I haven't seen a really, really big one now.
I just like the idea of...
They can get massive.
They get huge. I just like the idea of a massive great worm that no one knows is there, walking out from behind live rock at night, just punching its way out of the tank. I just think it's quite a funny image. Whether it's ever happened or not, I don't know.
No.
But yeah, there's your live rock basically. It's another way of introducing bacteria, isn't it? And arguably better because it is directly taking the bacteria that live in the ocean in the part of the world where you want it to come from, being introduced into your tank. Works very well, doesn't it?
It does.
I love live rock. Oh, we'll come on to reefing questions and stuff as we go, but we had a customer who I can think of who was having a problem with dinoflagellates, diatoms, things like that in the water. It's probably high silicate levels, I would imagine, something along those lines. But she picked up a couple of kilos of live rock and put that in the tank, and it turned the tank round within days. It really did. It's just a case of getting that biome. We'll talk again down the line about biome and microbiology of a reef tank, but having the stuff in there that should be in there that is from the place that it should be from is so helpful.
Look,
live rock's great.
It is great. No, we're talking about it as is. It does carry its bad stuff as well.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
But that's for another day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Pros and cons of live rock.
Oh, there is. There's pros and cons to all. Like.
Yeah.
And then starting with dry rock, like you just have to wait a bit longer. You really do just have to wait a bit longer.
I mean, I'm just looking at the picture there on our screen. You guys can see the tank behind us. That leather's sulking. What's up with him? He's normally wide open and pushing the glass himself. The lights are dropping, that's why. We're not normally here at this time, are we, Dave? We're normally halfway down the motorway by now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Staying for you guys to produce
absolutely.
But that rock, I mean, you wouldn't know to look at it that wasn't live rock out the sea.
No, that's all Marco rock.
That started off its life as totally bleached Marco rock, didn't it? As rock that had nothing on it and was clean and white. So it happened.
So much life on it now.
So much life. It looks like live rock. If you pulled a piece of that out and said it was from the reef, there'd be no reason to question it.
And it will look like live rock now because there's coral on it, there's like stuff encrusted on it, and
yeah.
So technically it is
farm of worms there.
Yeah, the feather dusters I see in them. Yeah.
And that's, I suppose, there we go. Terminology gone wrong. It's become live rock as soon as there's bacteria on it. Yeah. But now it's mature rock, so it's got maturity. There's a lot of things living in it which do a good job or less good job in the system. So it comes, doesn't it, with dry rock, but of course the difference with dry rock is you have to introduce that bacteria by artificial means.
Yeah, we do.
Not a challenge, buy a bottle, stick it in.
And like it, I suppose if you, like the other benefits of starting off with dry rock is, like, we reduce the risk of putting in more pests. You know, we can reduce that. At least we know exactly what we're putting into the tank, like, you know. We can put a rock in, we can put a dry sand in, and then we can just have an ammonia source, you know, and go from there, like, you know.
Yeah, you know you're not dealing with crabs and stuff like that, but I suppose also anything else that could come in, algae, anemones. Could you, this would be a question for Dr. Bobby, and I don't know the answer to this, could things like white spot and such come in on live rock? I don't see why not.
I
suppose they wouldn't be plentiful in the wild. I would imagine on the reef.
I don't know.
You wouldn't find one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know. Interesting.
That,
Well,
that,
ask Dr.
that's a
Bobby.
question for him.
That's a question for someone who's really up
Or
on
even
diseases.
anybody
Yeah, any of
listening
you guys
now
that-
and seeing, like, you know. Although, I suppose it depends on where it's being cured.
Mm.
Suppose not many people would be curing rock in with fish.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no.
Unless
But
they're
I'm
going to
talking
throw
about
them in with a lot of
where it
damsels.
comes from, literally. Yeah, well, I suppose
Yeah,
chuck a load of damsels into
yeah.
cured rock.
Just throwing them in like
Yeah.
something like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Keeping them in a little tank. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, keeping them in the tank, peeling them apart.
Davey.
Anyway.
Right, we can't talk about cycling without talking about what we've been talking about so far is fishless cycle, which is the popular way. Don't put fish in, don't expose livestock to potential ammonia cycle spikes, etc., etc. But we can't talk about cycling without mentioning the fact that fish in cycling exists. It's a contentious topic. I'm sitting here going, we're putting the podcast out talking about fish in cycling, and it's really not the done thing anymore, for very good reason, isn't it? Now, I'm going to throw my neck on the line here, right? The problem I have, if you like, with saying that you should never cycle a tank with fish in the tank is two things. Number one, if done properly, it can be perfectly safe, okay? And number two, we're all encouraged to quarantine every single fish that we put in our tanks, no matter where they come from. Quarantine tanks are not cycled tanks.
Yeah.
Quarantine tanks deal with ammonia in a different way while the cycle is happening. You cannot say you have to quarantine your fish in a sterile glass box and you are not allowed to put your fish in a sterile glass box in the same sentence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a fish in quarantine right now. Hopefully he'll be not shy enough to come out and show his face. I might get a little video of him for next week.
Yeah,
the
cool.
first fish that's going into my little SPS Nano. Now, he is currently in a system which is set up purely to quarantine him. It's purely set up to observe, deal with any diseases, deal with any issues, feed him up, make sure he's fit and healthy before he goes into a tank, etc. But it's not a cycle tank. And no one's is. Now, it depending on how long he's observed for, it may become a cycle tank. But when he's done with that quarantine process and he's in the main tank and I'm looking at putting another fish in the quarantine process, what am I going to do to make sure that that quarantine tank that's had that fish in it doesn't pass anything on to the next fish, the next fish, the next fish? I'm going to dry it, I'm going to sterilize it, I'm going to get rid of everything down to a bacterial level. Then I'm going to fill it up with completely and utterly clean water, put a brand new filter sponge in there, and I'm going to put a fish straight in it.
Yeah.
Is this not fish in cycling of a tank, which we're actively encouraged to do?
It is and it isn't. If we're going to quarantine a fish like this, what I would do is I would do a lot more water changes.
But this is what I mean. There are other ways of dealing with the ammonia if you're looking at fish in cycling.
And if you are quarantining the fish, like, I'm sorry, there's no point in, okay, I'm feeding the fish, he's in quarantine. You do not just throw food in.
No.
You want to make sure he eats everything
Absolutely.
it gets given.
And heavy siphoning.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, if he's only going to eat 10 pellets,
testing.
he'll only, and testing, and water testing as well, like, you know.
Yeah.
But definitely as much water changing as possible, like.
Yeah.
Just keeping a perfect environment, because you just want the fish to stay healthy. And once it stays healthy in there,
and we have to talk about ammonia detoxifiers, because everyone, bar none, and look, when I talk about fish in cycling, I personally don't see a need for it, but I do think it's important if you're going to quarantine fish, if you're going to do it that way, that you should at least be aware of how to keep a fish in a tank that isn't a cycle tank. Because when we throw fish into a cycled system and we just take for granted the fact that ammonia is dealt with, you know, we put the first few fish in, we do a couple of water tests, make sure there's no ammonia, we just go, okay, the system's fine, it's mature, it's cycled, it will look after the health of the fish. Whereas when you take away all of those luxuries and go into something like a quarantine setup, it's more important to understand the role of these things and how we can better deal with them in a system where we don't have sufficient bacteria to deal with them for us.
Yeah.
And it's the things that you're saying. You feed the fish the amount that they are actually going to eat.
Yeah.
you test the water on a regular basis. Like I'm getting up half an hour earlier in the morning at the moment because I'm doing an ammonia test in the morning before I leave and in the evening after, and I'm feeding the fish. And if there's anything left over 15 minutes later, I'm siphoning it out. And as soon as I walk through the door in the evening, I'm back out there to give them another meal and siphon out the waste and test the ammonia. But ammonia detoxifiers are wonderful things to have on hand, aren't they?
Yeah.
Prime being the famous one, the Seachem one. Optimus is the
Optimus is by
the
NT Labs. Yeah.
I wonder why it's called Optimus when the one before it was called Prime.
Optimus Prime.
I wonder why you've got Optimus Prime. Optimus. I can't work it out myself. Can you?
yeah.
I can't work out where the branding comes from for that one.
Brilliant.
But
it's
wonderful stuff. Do you know how it works?
What?
Do you know how it works?
Tell me.
So, ammonia is NH3, yes? Nitrogen and 3 hydrogens, which is very small and it has no charge.
Yes.
So it can move very easily by osmosis through gill membranes, through membranes, etc. Your detoxifiers, if you like, turn NH3 ammonia into NH4 ammonium.
Yeah.
It adds a hydrogen ion. Now what that hydrogen ion does is gives the ammonium a positive charge.
Yeah.
And because it has a positive charge, it isn't able to move through the membrane. So the ammonia physically can't get into the place where it needs to be to cause damage to the animal. So it literally is a barrier by other methods of keeping it away. Ammonia, bore everyone with science again, but why not? It's fun.
Told you.
Whether David, when you, so pH, right? So we all know that our fish tank has a pH, yes? So pH, which you may not know, you will do anyway, stands for the potential of hydrogen. So how many hydrogen ions there are freely floating around in the water. It's a measure of how much hydrogen there is in the water, right? So NH3 is a nitrogen and 3 hydrogens. NH4 is a nitrogen and 4 hydrogens.
Yeah.
So the difference between ammonia, toxic, and ammonium, non-toxic, is a hydrogen ion, and hydrogen is measured in water by pH.
Yeah.
Right? So this is why there is such a proportional relationship between how much of your ammonia in the water is ammonia and how much is ammonium, and what decides that is what the pH is of your water. The higher the pH, the higher the pH, the less hydrogen ions there are free in the water. So pH 8.4 water has less available hydrogen ions in the water than pH 7 water does, right? So in higher pH water, there's less free hydrogen ions binding to the ammonia, therefore more of that ammonia is ammonia.
Right.
Bring the pH down, there's more hydrogen in the water, which is more easily to bind with an ammonia, which turns it into ammonium. This is why in freshwater tanks, ammonia is much, much less of an issue, because at pH 7 or lower, the vast majority of ammonia in the water column is in its non-toxic ammonium form, whereas in marines, the pH is higher, therefore more of the ammonia in the water is ammonia and less is ammonium, so it's more toxic. Ammonia is a much bigger problem in saltwater than it is in freshwater.
Yeah.
So there you go. And when you introduce your prime, basically what it does is it provides that ion to bond with NH3 to turn it into its non-toxic form. There you go.
There you go, that's it. I told you, get all heavy. No, it's good, it's good.
Right, do you know what?
It really is.
The way I see it, right, a lot of our viewers have fish tanks, they have
they do.
They've been through the cycle. Some people are in it a lot longer than me and you are, well, me certainly. I don't know, 25 something years. You're probably about the same in it, aren't you?
Yeah.
But a lot of people out there have been doing it a lot longer than us and know all of this sort of stuff.
I don't really get into the science behind it. I like seeing it happen.
Yeah. Whereas I could go.
You come in and go, and I'd be like, okay. Leave me alone.
But then I walk over to the coral bay and I'm like, Davey, what's that called? Not a clue. This guy knows every single coral in the bay by name and reputation.
Smell, touch, feel.
Yeah. Only because you've been stung by most of them.
True. Yeah.
So anyway, that's where the whole ammonia issue comes in. So essentially, if you're managing a system through a fish in cycle, or if you're managing a quarantine system or whatever, for goodness sake, have some ammonia detoxifier on hand.
Yeah.
Like I'm putting 1 mil is all I need of this every other day, without fail, no matter whether there is ammonia in my quarantine tank.
Are you using Prime? Or are you using? else is there?
Optimus.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm using Prime. And I'll tell you why, because I had half a bottle of it left over from last time I needed it at home.
Yeah, nice.
But it gets 1 ml of Prime every other day. Doesn't need it every day, but every other day, even though I'm testing zero ammonia. And if I see ammonia creep in at all, then I will do a water change of about a third, and I will put in some ammonia detoxifier.
Like using Prime, like in, like to help reduce nitrate and phosphate and stuff like that. It's not nitrate and phosphate, but you get a lot of people using Prime to kind of not stabilise everything at the start, but they do even in their cycle, like
because
it locks up your nitrate. Like,
well, I mean, look every single time we get a big fish delivery. We use safe. It's a more concentrated form. But we put half a cap in the fish bays, just because you're increasing the bioload.
Yeah.
And when you increase the bioload, the biological filtration capacity has to catch up.
Yeah.
And that takes a period of time. So in that stopgap, if you've got a bit of stuff that you can literally just go, oh look.
It's like when we add a new fish, just add something in to add a bit of bacteria in, just to give it a bit of a boost, you know.
Bit of bacteria helps as well.
Yeah, it does.
Why not? We'll talk one day when we decide that we want to get into deep and heavies about the difference between startup bacteria and the other forms of bacteria that are in the tank.
Yeah.
Because I think the bacterial processes that go on in the tank are fascinating.
There's a lot.
There's a
too
lot.
much going on.
There's a lot.
I can't get my head around
the bacteria is bacteria, right?
No. There's so many
when you add in a bottle of something when you're doing your water change, it is not nitrifying bacteria, denitrifying bacteria. It's not. It's something else.
Yeah. And it's not even that. It's you're adding bacteria in to kill other bacteria. To kill themselves, and it's just what do we call them? Bacterial phases.
Bacterial phases. Yeah. See, this is the other thing to mention, isn't it? Is when you say cycle in a reef tank, we're talking very specifically about the nitrogen cycle. But the nitrogen cycle in it now. Look, the nitrogen cycle in itself does take place. Nitrogen moves from 1 to 1 to 1. However, we have to step in to the nitrogen cycle.
Yeah.
Because the nitrogen cycle exists in the wild, and in the seas and in the lakes and in the oceans and everywhere, in the forest floor, absolutely everywhere. But once you have nitrate at the end product of your cycle, that needs removing. So in the wild, it's removed by, it's consumed by algae, which is then eaten by fish. That puts it into the fish. The fish then die. It's then released back into the water. The fish is eaten by a bird. The bird goes over land and goes for a poo, and some of that nitrate from the fish comes out. That goes into the soil. That grows into grass. That's eaten. The nitrogen cycle is enormous, and it involves land animals, and it involves sky, and it involves mud, and it involves microbes that live in soil. So what we're talking about is a very small part of the nitrogen cycle that happens within our tank. We do the rest of it. But there are many other cycles that happen within a reef tank.
Yeah.
Many more.
There is.
It's just that's the one we care about, because if you put fish in ammonia, they die.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting, isn't it?
I'm going to throw a little curveball in.
Go on then.
So you can set up a tank, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen it happening. I've experienced it happening. You can set up a tank day one and add coral to it.
Okay.
I've seen it happen so many times.
Add coral to it?
Oh. I don't understand that too either, Google. But it happens.
Did you guys hear that? Davey's phone just woke up out of nowhere and said, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, but we do it all the time, setting up coral bays and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you're setting up a tank with nothing in it and just add coral.
Yeah.
But the coral is going to have all that bacteria on it.
Yeah.
On its body.
The coral's going to introduce a lot, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people say a good way to get a tank mature is stuff it full of coral as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, coral wants stability.
Oh, no, it does. It does want stability.
Doesn't necessarily care about certain parameters, but what it doesn't want is things changing all the time.
But you can put a lot more coral in than you can put fish in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know.
But corals are not poisoned by ammonia.
No.
In fact, corals consume
ammonia. And that's why I was saying, like...
Corals get that because when a coral eats nitrate,
it's
not trying to get nitrate, it's trying to get nitrogen. It's a nitrogen compound.
Yep.
So nitrogen, nitrate NO3, nitrogen and 3 oxygens, is much more difficult for a coral to assimilate into a pure nitrogen compound than NH3 is. You feed a coral, this is where this trend of ammonia or ammonium or urea dosing is coming from. You're feeding corals by feeding them ammonia, not by feeding them nitrate. You know, nitrate is again is another conversation for another day. But nitrate is corals are very, very bad
Yeah.
at taking
Nitrogen.
nitrogen,
Nitrogen.
nitrate,
Well, they're
and
looking for
phosphate out
ammonium,
of the water column.
isn't they? They really wanted
Well, they're
ammonium.
looking for particulate organic
Yeah,
phosphate
yeah.
rather than dissolved organic
Yeah,
phosphate.
yeah, yeah.
They're better at nitrate than phosphate. They can
Yeah.
take in nitrate, but they'd much prefer ammonia.
Yeah,
And they struggle with anything that's dissolved. They want particulate.
yeah,
So you need to kind of take that nitrate and phosphate and put it inside of a particle and then feed that to your corals.
Yeah.
And that's done by bacteria, which is where you come onto carbon dosing.
yeah.
But this is another subject for another day.
It is
so that's
indeed.
deep.
It is indeed.
And it'd
yeah.
be great to talk about that because
Yeah.
I love that subject. How to
Yeah.
actually get, because why take nitrate and phosphate out? When you buy fertilizer from the garden centre, look at the ingredients on the back. It says nitrate and phosphate.
Yeah.
It is. It
We don't
feeds
use that to
stuff.
cycle the marine
Well,
tank.
no, because you're not using nitrate and phosphate, are you? Using ammonia.
no.
That's
No.
you're missing a stage
Yeah.
there. But the end product that ends up in your algae, your Cheeto and your refugium that you chuck in the bin, or it
Yeah.
ends up in your water change that you're taking your water out and pouring it down the drain.
Yeah.
Like you're literally pouring the building blocks of life within your coral down the drain. Is it not better to persuade those corals to eat those things rather than chucking them away? But for that, we need to step in again because
Yeah.
whereas in the wild that would be dealt with in itself, long chain carbon polymers produced mostly by seaweeds.
Yeah,
But in the reef tank, we have to help them a bit.
yeah,
A lot of reefing is, if you think about it, taking a natural process and stepping in to help it along its way because it can't
Yeah.
achieve it on small level. You know?
it is indeed. Now, I did say that you can just throw corals in. I didn't say any coral. You know, it will be easy to keep corals.
I mean,
It'll
you
be
can
soft
throw
corals.
any corals in.
Yeah, you can. They're not going to all live.
They're not going to do
The
very well.
FPS
for you.
aren't gonna do great.
They're not going
like,
to do
you
very
know.
well.
But that's if you're willing to set up an aquarium and from day one be like, right, everything is going to be perfect from the get-go.
Yeah.
And what I mean perfect from the get-go is you're going to be dosing your calcium, magnesium, KH to keep the corals happy, and then obviously checking your nitrate and phosphate and
Yeah.
making sure they're actually turning
Yeah.
and doing what they're doing. But I do know, like I've seen in situations, even setting up tanks where I've had a tank crash and I'd be like, I'm nowhere for my corals to go or whatever. And it's happened to me before where I've literally thrown a load of corals into a tank with a load of water, no rock, no nothing, just had a wave maker on it, had whatever, and like they do fine, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's essentially a new tank. You know, and they'll do fine for the time being.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
just need to start adding, I suppose, a nitrate and phosphate source
Yeah. you
over
have to feed
time,
them.
like, you know.
And you've got to keep things very stable.
Yes.
And as we all know, the main enemy of putting corals into new tanks early is stability.
And it really is just about stability.
If you could ICP and adjust your tank every day, you could get away with anything from day one.
Well, that's an ideal world. It is.
In the future, when every shop has an ICP machine out the back because they're so cheap, you just throw a bit of water through it.
Yeah, it's
That'd be
hard
good,
about that now.
Those trying to get away with an
Yeah,
under tank ICP machine
Yeah.
that just runs a test every couple of days for you.
It'd be cool, alright, yeah.
Savage, wouldn't it?
Would be
That's a
really
way
nice.
away.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
We just get
Like the technology is there. Like we're trying with Mastertronics, ion directors, and
yeah.
your Trident from Neptune and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like,
Yeah.
they test a bunch of parameters. All not perfect, not yet.
Yeah.
But as I've always said, is this hobby is so new. Like, you know, this auto testing is only in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it will get to
Yeah.
a stage where
It works.
you'll be somebody will be buying, whether it's a Red
It does
Sea
work.
tank, a D&T tank, whatever,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, you just need to fill it with water, and this cartridge gets clipped into this,
Yeah.
and this computer's going to do everything for you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's all it's going to
It'll
be.
happen.
It will happen. It'll
Yeah.
happen eventually.
Mm.
It will. It'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You get pretty lazy, but
Yeah. That's it.
it is.
That's
Well,
only
the
problem,
enjoyment
isn't it?
is tinkering, messing around,
Yeah.
killing stuff, and trying to keep it alive.
Trying to
And,
keep it alive.
yeah,
Yeah. Very
it
good.
really is.
Very good. Do you know what's really funny? I said to you earlier on when we were talking about cycling a tank, I said we're never going to get a full podcast out of talking about cycling a tank.
No, and I was saying,
What
to
else
you,
are we
it's
going to
just-
talk
you just
about? Davey was
waffle.
like, we'll easily get a full podcast.
Yeah, he was like, oh, but you can get the information so quick. I was like, yeah, you can, but
Yeah.
like,
It's because we talk a lot of rubbish in between the relevant points, probably.
true.
I hope that doesn't annoy people.
You have to.
We
You
do
know.
anyway.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing this week? You up to anything fun?
What am I doing this week? What are we doing this week in the shop?
I'm off tomorrow and Sunday. You're off Thursday, Friday. We're both in Saturday.
Yeah, we're both in Saturday. I don't
We're
know, we'll do
busy
some
day.
more fragging.
Oh, we've done lots of fragging today.
Yeah, we've done lots of stuff today, didn't we?
Yeah, you're going to put some videos
So
out?
in the last, 2 weeks, we've counted, we've done 300 frags.
Yeah.
You know,
300
so I'm literally
frags.
running out of flag book.
Yeah.
And more, probably more than that actually.
Yeah. And it's everything.
You know?
It's softies, it's LPS,
Yeah,
it's
there's bits of
SPS,
everything.
it's
So some really nice bits
Yeah.
of
Jack's and Aquapora. Those frags are
Jack's,
lovely.
yeah, we've done a load of that. Yeah, lots
Yeah.
and lots of aquaculture frags.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
not much. I don't think we've got much in. We haven't got much.
I've not unpacked any corals. in the
Yeah,
last
we
couple
have
of weeks.
a lot more fish than that.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. Loads of
it
fish.
is.
geez.
Yeah, loads of
Lots
different
of
fish.
fish.
Some really nice fish as well. Like, you know,
Mm.
it is.
Mm.
That's an issue now at the moment, but we're not getting the amount of fish we used to get. Like with everything going on in the
Everything happening
as
all over the
as
world.
all the
is-
suppliers are saying as in the Persian War.
Yeah,
You know, that's going on, and it's
yeah.
It's
Genuinely
just-
ripples into everything, doesn't it?
yeah, small supply chain issues
Mm.
there is. But look, we seem to be managing.
Yeah,
Everywhere seems to be having some amount of stuff.
yeah.
Just slower coming in now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just not the availability
Yeah.
that we had.
But you wouldn't know it looking at our coral base.
No,
You
and
really wouldn't.
it's absolutely full in
Wow.
there. It is.
Packed.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
Other than that, like, I don't know what else now. To be honest, now another full week of. It's only Monday, isn't it?
I know.
Another.
Monday.
We got I left ordering fish lace, so that's gonna have to be done tomorrow.
Mm.
Yeah, we've lots more trops. Trops are starting to pick up again, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
really starting to
absolutely.
be.
Trops are moving through.
That's
We've
cool.
we've a big petrol order coming in.
We do nice.
Yeah, we've
nice.
a lot of tropical fish coming in this week.
Yeah, happy days.
Some
we need
inverts
that.
as well, some crustaceans, some
Yeah.
real nice freshwater stuff.
Yeah.
Some nice freshwater tanks coming in as well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, more videos. I want to try get more videos out there.
Mm.
We do.
Yeah, well, we might have a little bit of a shift coming with our social media stuff.
Yeah,
we won't talk
we're
about it now, but
pushing. We're just bit stuff a little bit more done.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do more. I have to do more videos for deals and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
They've been good.
Mm.
More funny videos.
More funny videos.
My field video.
What, are you saying that our videos talking about the science of bacterial growth within marine tanks
No,
is
no,
not
we need.
funny?
Yeah, well, it is.
It's hilarious. How
It is
dare you?
hilarious. It is hilarious.
I'm going to get ripped for this,
Nah,
honestly.
yeah, no.
I'm going to get destroyed.
It's. But I did say I was like, right, when we start, we'll be just like, we'll take it easy today.
Yeah.
We won't say too much. It's just like,
No.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I know, but then when people are watching this who know everything about
Yeah,
the
no,
cycle,
true,
throwing
true,
little
true.
bits of extra in. And look,
Yeah.
we don't know everything. So,
No,
you
we
know,
don't, we don't,
And
we
anyone
don't.
out there who really loves the sciencey
Yeah.
side, come back to me with all the info you've got. 'cause
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And all we're doing is learning from others and picking information up where we can, assimilating it into our own words and going from there.
Yeah,
You've heard it here
absolutely.
first.
Yeah, we've heard it here first.
All right, Davey,
Yeah.
that'll do for one day, mate.
It will indeed. It
You happy?
will indeed.
Anything else you want to say?
No, so
Goodbye to the wonderful people.
I think we should. How should we wrap it up? Oh yeah, questions quiz. If you have any questions, any issues, send an email to
Yep.
rlaquestions
RLA questions
at gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah, I think that's it
There
really,
we
isn't
go.
it?
Okay.
It was
Goodbye,
nice.
guys,
Take it easy.
for another week. Have a wonderful one. Enjoy your reefing,
Yeah.
and talk to you soon.
Yeah, take it easy.